We're going to start it and see what it looks like.
I'll get some lung cleansing.
Yeah, I need it.
I'll actually pop on YouTube and see what it looks like.
Yeah. So we're having technical difficulties. Can you guys see what you usually see, or do you see like just the door and the wall and maybe my head? I guess the more important question first is, can you hear me? Isha's gonna check on YouTube also, see what we got. Same as usual.
Oh, good.
You check on yours and just make sure.
Whole picture and sound good. Yay, that's great.
That's weird, huh? How do we monitor?
Why am I offline? Oh, jeez, I needed that on. Okay, I guess we can start since it's normal. Oh no!
So we've got our act together today. I almost said this morning. So clearly we do not.
Clearly I need another swig.
Some days,
His coffee machine's broken. It's
some
discombobulated.
days are just harder than others to just get it
Wait,
together.
we'll buy you a new coffee machine.
Oh my
We'll all chip
gosh.
in. This doesn't work.
That is the problem.
That won't help though, since I drink decaf.
Are you drinking?
Okay,
Yeah.
yes. Okay, so we're okay. We're okay.
Okay. That's good?
Yeah, it's showing the whole
Well,
thing.
that's going to be interesting to figure that out.
Yes, very odd.
Okay. Well.
Let me, actually I wanted to copy the words to a new bhajan that we're doing
Okay.
today. Mercury retrograde. Love Mercury retrograde. It's like so fun. I feel like so fun. Jeez. Okay. Here it is, guys. Doot. Some of those words are kind of came through together, but yeah, that's just a new one. And the other one is, well, everyone knows that on the sea, so
Yeah,
It's
maybe
good.
you
Yeah.
can just write it.
right.
Yeah. Dot. Tom. A C. There you go. Linus has his instrument
Yes.
ready to go. Okay, so first let's just take a moment. Connect to Swamiji. If you want, if you're at home or in your mind, you can imagine prostrating or connecting or putting your hands in prayer, whatever you like doing. Where when you're surrendering, you're basically surrendering the duality that you hold. As you surrender, you remind yourself this body wasn't mine before I was born, it won't be mine after it's gone. Thoughts come and go. They're mine for a moment, then they're not. Emotions come and go. They're mine for a moment, then they're not. My life direction is mine for a moment, and then it's not. So none of these things are truly mine, and that's why I surrender them to be used for that higher truth. So when we surrender, you're surrendering ignorance, avidya. You're surrendering the part of you that holds on to the misunderstanding and treats it as reality. So we're trying to see the reality and let go of the avidya, or the ignorance or misunderstanding. So we're going to offer some rice on behalf of all of you. Set an intention just for that flame in the heart, the bhakti, to increase.
Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Real quickly, let's just take that energy from that arati flame, take it to the root. Om Hu, Om Huva,
Om Bhuva,
Om Swaha,
Om Swaha,
Om Maha,
Om Maha,
Om Jana,
Om Jana,
Om Tapa,
Om Tapa,
Om Satyam,
Om Satyam,
Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om. Let's just ask for Swamiji's personal presence to be with us. just take, we're going to do some alternate nostril. So take the two at the top, the brow, then the other fingers are on the other side. And you're creating in your mind, visualizing triangles. When you breathe up the left, it's up the left side, collecting at the brow, kind of around the hairline, actually. We're doing this a little different than you'll see some people tell you to breathe to here. Just breathing up here and not even visualizing. So this is a little different. I'm not going to get into it, but this is accessing a different part. And then when you're holding it there, you want to actually close both when you hold, and then you exhale down the right, close both, inhale to the right, collect at the brow, then down to the left, close. So you're closing at the top of the inhale and exhale. Especially during the stopped inhale and exhale, right at the top, you are going to be holding your mind as still as you can. Okay, so start with the left, breathing in through the left, so you plug the right. Hold. Exhale to the right. Hold. Inhale right. Hold. Exhale left. Hold. Inhale left. Hold. Exhale right. Hold. Inhale right. Hold. Exhale left. Okay, just relax your hands. And you're going to breathe and just kind of subtly roll your head around. Long inhale, exhales. You're also going to kind of just do a subtle twist over your right and just breathe and look to the back. Breathe a few times. Okay, back to center. Take a few breaths. And then gentle twist over your left, looking towards the back, breathing a couple breaths there. Back to center. A few breaths here. Hands together in front of the heart. And then point them forward, kind of overlap the fingers. Take a deep breath. And then kind of create space in the hands in front. Bend the fingers, the thumbs in. Take a deep breath. And then at the end, Om. And then take the same hands, turn them down. Take a deep breath and the Om at the end. Om. And then bring the hands in front again, curl the fingers in. Take a deep breath. And then again, hands space in the middle, but thumbs are forward. Take a deep breath. Take the hands, flatten them out, turn the fingertips towards the heart. Take a deep breath. And then just hold Gyan Mudra and relax. Take a few deep breaths. And let's have an intention just to settle and open our hearts and clear our minds, refocus them back on the divine. So part of the clean bhakti devotion. Everyone has it. Sometimes people think they have it or they don't have it, that they're on one path or another. The fact that you're interested in something, it means that you like it or you love it. You're interested in something. And it's not about just a love for a thing or for an object. It's about the love that kind of, in a sense, is transcendental, something that goes beyond. So, it's easy to love this little guy, but that wouldn't really be, bhakti. That would be love. But then people would think, well, then it needs to be somewhere else, like to God somewhere over there. But in truth, when you love something so much and you start reflecting on the magic of life that built, such a precious thing, it takes your mind in a more transcendental way. So that constant sense of amazement and wanting to know, like, if something can create such a wonderful game of life, then I want to know what did it. I want to find it. I can't stop until I find that. So if something can create, something this magical, then I really want to go deeper in my sadhana to find out truly, what is. So if you notice anything that you don't like, trying to find God in that is very hard. So it's like your mind, your heart shuts down, it rejects it and says, no, I'm not going to find God there. And eventually you have to see that whatever the negative thing was, or negative person or event or situation was, played some positive role in your own transformational process. Somehow you'll have to kind of get over it. And when you do, you'll be bigger than its force. When you're limited by its force, you're not bigger than it. So you haven't transformed and gone beyond. You're still suffocated by the lower emotions or energies or thoughts. So then when we choose to get over it, a little thing, a negative thing, at least what we perceive to be a negative thing, a lacking thing, a loss type thing, then we can find something bigger and better. We can get closer to the source. So you have to do a lot of cleanup before you can get there to certain negative, seemingly negative events. But with something that's positive, it's a little easier. So then when you look at something in your life and you just appreciate it, that's gratitude, appreciation, love. So you see positivity, and that's good. But when you go further and you ask, and you really get yourself into that state of deep inner gratitude that's just welling up from within you, like you just are so amazed that it's this perfect, this beautiful, that you want to know its maker. You want to know what is it that created this? What, treasured trove of goodness did this come from? Did this possibly manifest from? And when you have that as your interest, then that's your devotion. That's that part of you that's going into the exploration of life, trying to figure out exactly, where the magic lies. Where does it rest? Where's the source of all the goodness? Where is, Shiva? Where is the goodness? So you don't need to do it with a particular form that's practical or a part of your life. You can have a harder time doing that. Depends on your association with things, and that's your job to clean it up. So if you can't do it with normal things in your life, we typically have images, or we do some form of dhyanam on Krishna or Shiva or whatever the form. We do it on whatever we need to, whatever we can, because we normally have, this is really what it means, we have not the best associations in life, and we need to elevate them. And so your altar actually represents all forms. It represents all aspects of life, the cosmos. But not for you now. It represents to you now probably the best part of life. The thing that gets you the good feelings, the thing that gives you the good blessings, the thing that gives you good meditation, the thing that might put you into samadhi. You're, trying to find access to something that means something transcendental. But on your, if you complete your mission to love God because God created everything, you're going to end up loving everything. What people call good and bad, positive, negative. You're going to have to understand how it fits in the grand scheme, the design of things. It's harder to do. That's more difficult than just realizing, that you have a part of your being, your conscious awareness that is, you can call it the backdrop of the forms. That's the easier path. To realize all forms are actually the consciousness as well. Aham brahmasmi, like that requires a lot of discipline, a lot of, you need a tremendous amount of stick-to-itiveness, perseverance. So you'll eventually reach it, all of these goals. The reason why we're more focused in this life is because we want it to happen in this life. So that's how we're, coming together and putting attention on it. We're like, yeah, it can happen, and let's make it happen now. Or if not now, this life. Let's make it happen. When we come together, the amount of karma that you have is being burned off faster. That's the whole point of collecting and doing such a thing. Goals are achieved. Like if you're working with someone, that person can, let's say, math, and you're not that good at it, and they're good at it, then they help you get to the, to understand it a little faster. So when we come together in satsang, it's not so much the information, though if it helps you, then wonderful, because that's obviously there for a reason. But energetically, when we're all opening to grace, we're just letting it come through. We're letting all of ourselves heal. So in a sense, we represent a bigger energetic connection where all of this energy can come through, washing us out faster with more intensity. And we can accomplish greater things. It's like having a lot of tutors calling on all the, devatas, please come help. So to elevate, that sense of devotion in your heart, you have to look at the divine as the being that does nothing wrong. And you're going to have to look at it in a bit of a, proactive, helpful way for you. How will, God help me? That's pretty much what your mind is looking for. How is God going to remove my karma, my sins, my whatever, my energy? How is God going to make me more uplifted? How is God going to get rid of my sadness? How is God going to make me happy? So we have a bit of a taking type relationship with God. That's why seva is important, so you can kind of knock that part out of you and you give instead of take. We're trying to be givers, basically, on the spiritual path. We're not trying to be takers. And so we typically do meditations on some aspect of the divine, and we try to visualize it in such a way that we see just the beauty of it and how it's always there positively supporting us on our journey. So whenever you see different types of bhajans or any type of dhyanam, it's like a visualization practice. You'll visualize a deity, it'll discuss the form, talk about the uniqueness of the form and the symbols. It may not go into the symbols exactly, it depends, but you may have to know more to understand it. But the idea is to get a good visual, so it explains it so that you can get a good sense of what it looks like, so that you can visualize. And you envision it inside of you. You envision it outside of you. You envision it in all of the atoms in the air, all of the molecules and all of the skin cells, all of your drops of blood, all of your neuron activity. You envision it everywhere. And this is a practice to increase your sense of the spiritual. So it does take some time to get really good at it, but the beauty of that practice is you can start now. You can do some of it. It's not like you can't. You can definitely visualize. So you can visualize something. So, a good example of devotion, which everyone pretty much knows, is kind of one of the, normal examples. Sri Krishna and Radha. So that idea of devotion. The gopis, the gopas, just the whole devotional sense. When you have that deeper connection with something and you feel the divine in something, you don't need an explanation why it's great. If you really feel the bliss, you feel the peace, you feel the goodness, you feel the meditation, you feel just how it transports you to another place, you don't need any explanations. Explanations are a way of setting up the mind and the heart to get to that place where you can see, and then you stop the explanation so that you can just coast. You just float into that higher state of consciousness. So a part of the beauty of Krishna is that from, really young to older, he's representing the divine. And when I'm sure most have read the stories of Krishna, but he's seemingly this, cute little boy, and, he has a simple job to be a cowherd and protector of the cows and take care of them with the other gopas. And yet whenever any trouble comes, he's there to protect everyone, all the villagers. So he's not just the Gopala, the protector, the one who watches over and makes sure the cows are safe, but the entire villagers. So in a sense, when you chant to, when you say a term like a Gopala, you're trying to point to that this divine force is taking care of the flock, is taking care of the cows. So we're cows, so we are being... Gopala basically is just that protective force that's just taking care of those who need protection, which is all of us souls, jiva. Until you have realized that you are, Paramatman, you are Jivatman. And before you even know you're Atman, you're just Jiva. You could say you're Jivatman if it makes you happy, but you don't feel like that. Where's your Atma? You just kind of feel like kind of the body, the mind, the emotional, personal kind of mess. And you're trying to sort it out. So when you're really in that state, you need a lot of help. So we pray to that force to ask for it to come heal us and help us out, to bring us to this nice place of clarity and divine connection. And so that will actually be, as you can see, the lyrics. Lyrics is not the right term. Clearly, this is not supposed to be like some song thing. It is, but you know what I'm saying. It's a way of doing dhyanam. It's a way of doing or meditation and prayer. It's a way of focusing the mind. It's a way of inviting in certain aspects. The sweetness of Krishna, the beauty of Krishna, the protective quality of Krishna, just the, meditating on all the different points. And envision yourself as kind of, in a sense, a soul that's being shepherded, brought to the divine, which happens to be Krishna, so in that sense. So then you're not even having to go somewhere. You're just needing to let yourself just be linked, with Krishna. So having that ultimate devotion where you trust that no matter what happens in my life, I'm being led to the greener pastures. I don't have to worry. And you might pass by some areas and be like, ooh, that's nice. Let's go to this pasture. Ooh, that's a nice river. Let's stop there. And maybe you can stop, maybe you shouldn't, but you just keep trusting that power and be led in that direction. So the biggest thing in, I think, all of our lives is learning how to develop faith in that process and then keep the faith no matter what happens. So it's easy to say, I have faith. It's another thing when your whole life is being turned upside down to see if you really have faith, because that's where faith starts to shatter. And so that's what we're trying to, perfect this, sense of faith. So no matter what happens, you know that everything's fine. That's what happens. The soul always says, by the way, it's all fine. That's the sattva. The rajas always says, no, it's not fine. I need to get this thing. And the tamas part of you says, no, it's not fine, and nothing's ever going to be fine. It's hopeless. So you've got these parts, and if you're trying to be connected to the spiritual, to sattva, you are trying to be attuned to that part of you that knows it's always okay. So you have that now. You have a part within you, always. These are the three parts of you. You have one part that always says everything's okay. Another part says, no, it's not okay until I get this thing. Another part says, no, it's not okay. It's never going to be okay. Even if I got that thing, it's not going to be okay. So you have those three parts. You always have these three parts. They're not going away. So the point is to see these three parts and realize that they don't really have to have any impact on you. They're just statements. They're just linked to the senses. They're linked to conditions. They're linked to your life direction, what you're going to get out of your life. They're linked to health. They're linked to friends. They're linked to, different objects. They're linked to things. But we need to look beyond what is linked to and see exactly what it is that really matters. So we're trying to get to sattva because you're not trying to stay there. You're trying to transcend all three guna, So you're just trying to get there for a reason, because it's the only mind of you that says everything's okay. I trust. That's the only part that actually can follow Krishna. So that's what you're trying to cultivate. Raja says, God, give me this first, and once you prove to me that things are okay in my life, then I'll follow you. So it needs a trick. It needs a life direction change. It needs something to be resolved before faith comes. Tamas, that lower, denser part of yourself, it doesn't even believe in God. So even if Krishna was there, it'd say, I don't really think that's Krishna. I really doubt it. Come on, a divine being, get serious, So it's not that when there's a divine incarnation, everyone on the planet or in the loka or in that realm or in that state, it's not that everyone believes that the divine incarnation is a divine incarnation, clearly, just by the stories. Or Krishna would have never had an enemy, which is not true. He was the one who battled the demons, with all the stories. And so it's just seeing that you have a part of you that doesn't believe, doesn't have faith, doesn't have hope. You have a part of you that does believe, does have hope, but has some bartering you're doing. You're wanting God to give you something first before you really let the heart love and just be open. Because you're saying, look, I love you if you let me follow this line of conditions. If you let me get what I want, I love you. If you tell me I can't have that, I'm not sure I like this, therefore you told me I couldn't do this and I don't like that, so I'm not happy with you, so I don't love you anymore. It's like, that's the rajas part of you. You're making a deal with God. Tamas is too lazy to make a deal with God. It doesn't want to make a deal because it thinks that it's all hopeless anyway. Probably it's not God, so it can't even give me what my deal would be for, and so it's all lost. I'll just sit here and rot, basically, is the tamas mind. It may feel comfortable sometimes, but it's just a steady decline. And then it's that sattva, that part is already connected with the divine. That's why it knows. It might be very slight, but it always knows everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. Because the soul, sattva, is not hampered by rajas, mind, manas, and that's not hampered by tamas, or the body, physical body, annamaya kosha. It's not hampered by it. So that stands outside. So you destroy the mind, soul doesn't care. Destroy the body, soul doesn't care. Everything's fine. So it can go through life like it's a crazy jungle gym, and it's fine. It'll get through it because it knows that it's connected. Whatever happens here is just tests and trials, no big deal, and you'll make it. The trick is not to get sucked into the mind, the emotions, the personality, the social events and things that start warping you, and to not get stuck into the physical body, thinking that this is what you are and your happiness is based off of, how good your body feels or how bad your body feels. It's like, your health does not determine who you are. Your soul is beyond your body and its health. Your soul is beyond all of the components that you seem to think build you up and turn you into, what you feel yourself to be. So that's kind of what we're trying to do. We're trying to get into that higher state of consciousness, the third guna, the third, I don't know if you want to call it an element, but aspect of material nature that lets you see through the rest of life and see it all as a game. It doesn't mean you're done with your path, you're not enlightened, but you're definitely not going to be a normal person if you're functioning with a high degree of that spiritual energy. That's not how normal people operate. Yeah, you're a good boy. You're a good boy. Oh yes, very good boy.
He doesn't want to leave. He wants to stay right. He wants to stay right there.
So then, when we're singing the first one where it says Gopala, that is the one where you can envision yourself being like a spiritual cow, being led by Krishna to the promised land kind of thing. You can envision it, and you're working with that image. You're trying to create and hold kind of visualization that will end up holding the energy. So as you're singing or chanting or just listening and you're trying to envision it, just envision yourself being led.
Can I read that?
So it basically translates as chant the name of Gopala, who gives joy to Radha, who is the son of Nanda. So this all seems very historical, but but there's meaning in all of this. He is the one who played the flute. He is known also as Keshava, Madhava, Janardana. He is a sweet child of Vrindavan, who wears the garland made of jungle flowers. So sometimes we don't even bother to read things because then you have to translate the things so people can understand what it's supposed to mean. So then just a quick thing is flute is one of the symbols with the flute has been that Krishna is always playing the flute. The idea of the flute is that that's the jiva, that's you. So that you're being played by the... I don't know how to play flute. Maybe it's like that. But you're being played by Krishna. So try to see like all of the holes in the flute, the chakras. You're like the flute, and you have the center channel. We don't get into esoterics that much. I used to only get into that, but you're basically just like a flute, and you're being held always by God, and you're being played by God. Accept how you're being played. You can change, you can participate, you can unblock one of your holes, one of the chakras, and let that be functional so that you can be played in a better way. That's your job. Keep the holes of the flute clear, which means keep your mind and heart clear. Keep the way you live your life clear. Keep all of your actions clear. And keep all the things that you're sensing, all your senses and the consciousness that sees through the senses as clear as you can. So you're just trying to stay clear so that all the flute, God's, I don't want to call it like a vessel or something because these are a little more almost religious sounding terms, but you're an instrument of the divine. That's the way to see it. So that's kind of the beauty of seeing some of this. So clearly all of this keeps going. If I actually look, I'm looking at the terms now, but I'm trying to see if there's anything useful to point to. I mean, not really. It's funny is that the ones that they translate are like, oh, this is that person, is this person in relationship with Krishna. And then for the flute, which has such profound symbolism, how they translate it is flute. It's like there's so much to say and they don't say anything. But that's what it's supposed to be. Oh, are you coming over here now? Yeah, this is the better seat. Yeah, come on. So that is the meditation. If you want, you can visualize yourself as a flute or as the spiritual cow in Krishna's herd and you're being taken to the promised land. It really doesn't matter what visualization you want to have, as you guys know. We talk about this all the time. But it's just important to have the mind working to create a better picture of things. Because in a sense, you are a spiritual cow and you're being led by Krishna, so you might as well visualize it and get on board. Whether it's you want to call it Krishna or some other name, that's fine. But the idea is that the divine force or power is actually with you and has always been with you and will keep on leading you or guiding you to the divine state. Okay? So nothing to worry about, everything's okay, and let's just coast. So we'll use the music as the coasting. There we go. This computer is so far away. Which one first? Okay. Since we're on that one. Any point you're going to talk, let me know. I'll turn off your reverb. So tonight, let's carry on cultivating that sense of bhakti and having the sense of faith and trust continue. That sense of love for that divine power that only wants you to be happy. We talked about this last time. Kind of the divine is always your well-wisher. So it's never against you or trying to give you problems or make your life difficult. It's always your well-wisher. So the divine always wants everything to work out well for you. It may require a little bit of intuitive skill to see exactly how this is working out well for you. But if we develop that faith and that trust, we can get to a place where we don't even need to know why or how it's supposed to be good for us. We absolutely know it's good for us. We know it's only going to take us to the next kind of abode of love and grace and higher consciousness. So we just keep on walking and hold on to the hand of the divine, and eventually you'll reach the summit. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. You may feel the presence and grace and energy, consciousness, the Shakti of Swamiji with you, blessing you, healing you, helping you, expanding your mind, your heart, and your consciousness. So, until next time, namaste.